everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of the Free Nutrition Foodcast. I'm your host Zainab, and today we're diving deep into one of the most talked about initiatives in Indonesia, the Free Nutrition Food Program for Students. I'm sure you have heard about it, but do you really know what that entails? This program promises free meals to millions of students every day in school across Indonesia. Sounds amazing, right? But we need to answer some quick questions. Is the food actually nutritious? What are the logistics behind delivering this meal? And can it really solve Indonesia's nutritional problems? Luckily, I'm not answering this question alone. I got three incredible experts here to help me out. First up, we have Mega, a nutrition expert who will break down what makes a meal nutrition.
Hello everyone!
Then Achel, our economy expert, will discuss how this program impacts Indonesia's economy.
Hi guys!
And the last but not least, Dinda, a student representative, will provide the student perspective. After all, students are the ones receiving these meals, and who knows better than the students themselves, right? Oh, and one more thing, we will also be reading some comments from our social media followers. So if you have an option about this program, keep listening to our podcast until the end. Before we start, I would like to know what are your first impression about this program. Mega, could you start?
Thank you Zainab. So, conceptually, this program is very promising. As a nutritional expert, I see great potential to address the malnutrition problems that are still a challenge in our country. However, implementation will be the key.
I agree with Mega. From an economic perspective, this could be a major stimulus for the local food industry if managed properly. But of course, budget and logistic management will be their own challenges.
As a students, we're certainly happy to hear about a free food program. But what we're thinking most about is, will the food taste good? Will there be enough variety? And what about students with allergies or special dietary needs?
Great question, let's discuss them one by one. But first, I want to ask Mega, why is this nutrition food program so important for Indonesia students?
Thank you for the question. So, the Free Nutritious Program is an Indonesian government initiative that aims to provide free nutrition food for students, especially those from low-income families. The goal is simple: to ensure children get enough nutrition to grow healthy, concentrate in school, and improve their academic performance. Data shows about 27% of Indonesian children still experiencing stunting. This is a concerning figure, and this program is one of the efforts to address this problem.
We also have a video to explain a little bit about this program. Let's watch it. That's it, let's continue. Could you explain more about stunting, Mega? Perhaps not all our listeners are familiar with this term.
Of course, stunting is a condition of growth failure in children due to chronic malnutrition, especially in the first 1000 days of life. Children who experience stunting usually have shorter height compared to other children their age. And more worryingly, stunting also affects brain development and cognitive abilities.
And it should be noted that stunting it's not just a health problem, but also an economic one. The World Bank estimates that Indonesia loses 2 until 3% of its GDP due to stunting. Imagine the economic potential lost because our young generation cannot develop optimally.
I'm just realizing how serious this problem. At my school in Malang, maybe the problem is not visible. But what about our friends in remote areas?
That's why this program is so important. But Dinda, as a student, what are your hopes for this program?
Of course, we hope the food is delicious and varied. But more than that, we want food that keep us energies throughout the day. Sometimes, in the last hours of school, our concentration is already scattered because we're hungry or sleepy.
And that's the importance of proper nutrition. Food should not only fill you up, but must provide stable energy and sufficient nutrients for brain development.
Achal, from an economic perspective, what the impact of this program on the state budget?
If we talk about numbers, this program does require a large budget. To feed millions of students every day, the cost could reach trillion rupiah per year. But this should be seen as an investment, not a burden. A healthy and intelligent generation will provide a much greater economic return in the future.
Now let's discuss in more detail what exactly nutrition food is. Mega, could you explain the balanced nutrition composition for school children?
Sure. Nutritious food for school children must include several main components: carbohydrates for energy, protein for growth, healthy fats for brain development, and vitamins and minerals for the immune system. For example, a balanced menu could consist of 50 to 60 complex carbohydrates such as brown rice, whole grain bread, or tubers, and 10 to 15% protein from lean meat, fish, eggs, or legumes, and then 25 to 30% of healthy fats from olive oil, avocado, or nuts, and of course sufficient portion of fruits and vegetables for vitamins and minerals.
But is that realistic to provide in schools? I mean, such a menu sounds expensive and complicated.
That's a good question, Dinda. This one is one of the challenges of this program. We need to find a balance between optimal nutrition and available budget. One solution is to utilize local food ingredients that are more affordable but still nutritious.
That's right, but menu variety is also very important. For example, in a week, we could serve in Monday brown rice with grilled chicken and chapchai vegetables. In Tuesday, mung beans porridge with boiled eggs. In Wednesday, with noodles with fish balls and vegetable soup. In Thursday, rice with tempe mendoan and sour vegetables. And then in Friday, whole grain bread with peanut butter and fresh fruit.
That sounds so delicious, but what about the children with specially dietary needs? For example, those with allergies or intolerance to certain food.
This is a more complex challenge. Ideally, schools should have data on students with special dietary needs and provide alternatives. For example, for students allergic to nuts, there must be alternative protein. For those who are lactose intolerant, there must be milk substitutes.
At my school, there are several friends who are vegetarian or don't eat certain meats for religious reason. Can this program accommodate that?
This goes back to logistic and budget issues. Providing a highly varied menu to accommodate all special needs certainly adds complexity and cost. But this is something that must be considered in program planning.
In my opinion, one solution is a basic menu approach that can be modified. For example, protein can be served separately so vegetarian students can take more portion of vegetables and carbohydrates, or providing 2 to 3 alternative menu each day.
Then what about the challenges of storing and distributing fresh food, especially in remote areas?
This one is one of the biggest challenges. For urban areas with a good access, fresh food distribution may not be much of a problem. But for remote areas, we might need other solutions such as preserved food that are still nutritious or training local staff to cook with local ingredients.
Let's discuss deeper about the purpose of this program. Achel, besides reducing stunting, what are other goals of this free nutrition food program?
This program has several other very important objectives. One is increasing attendance rate at school. Many children don't attend school because they have to help earn a living or because they're hungry. Two, improving concentration and learning ability. Children with adequate nutrition will be better able to focus and absorb lessons. And three, reducing social inequality. All children get access to the same nutritious food, regardless of economic background. And last is supporting local agriculture. If food ingredients are obtained from local farmers.
And don't forget about the long-term health aspects. Children who are accustomed to healthy eating patterns at school tend to carry that habit into adulthood, thus reducing the risk of non-communicable disease such as diabetes, hypertension in the future.
As a student, I can testify that hunger really interferes with concentration. Sometimes, in the last lesson hours, stomach are already rumbling and thoughts are only focused on when the bell will ring. So, food at school will definitely help.
What about the psychological impact, Mega? Are there benefits from a mental health perspective?
Certainly, good nutrition has been proven to positively affect mood and mental health. Deficiencies in certain nutrients, such as omega-3, B vitamins, and minerals like zinc and magnesium, can cause depression and anxiety. So, this program also supports students' mental health.
Plus, there's the socialization aspect. Eating together at school can be a moment to build social relationship between students. This is important for the development of their social skills.
Exactly. The school canteen is where we chat and joke around. If everyone gets the same food, there will no longer be prestige or difference because some can afford expensive snack and another cannot.
Okay, now let's discuss the challenges and potential problem in implementing this program. Achel, from an economic perspective, what are the main challenges?
There are several major challenges that need to be addressed. One is the budget. This is a very expensive program, right? To feed millions of students every day requires trillions of rupiah. And then logistics. Distributing food to tens of thousands of schools across Indonesia, including remote areas, and is an enormous logistical challenge. And three is quality control. Ensuring nutritional standards and food safety are maintained at all locations. And last is sustainability. This program must be sustainable in the long term. It can't just be a momentary populist program.
And what about the small vendors around school? At my school, there are many vendors who rely on income from selling to the students.
That's a very valid question, Dinda. This is an unintended effect that might occur. Small vendors could lose income. The solution might be to involve them in the supply chains of this program. For example, becoming suppliers or managers of the school canteen.
From a nutritional perspective, the challenge is ensuring the menu remains nutritious but is liked by children. We know that healthy food is often associated with less tasty flavors. This requires creativity in processing.
And then what about food waste? This is also a common problem in mass food program, isn't it?
Absolutely. If the food is not liked much, it will waste. The solution is to survey student food preference, involve them in menu planning, and ensure food is presented attractively.
And a good monitoring system is also needed to track how much food is wasted at each school. This data can be the basis for program improvement.
At my school, some parents are picky eaters. How do we address this so they still eat nutritious food?
Nutrition education is very important here. Students need to understand why certain foods are good for them. Also, involving students in gardening activities at school, children tend to be more willing to try vegetables they grow themselves.
What about corruption and misuse of funds? This is a concern that often arises a large-scale program in Indonesia.
I think transparency and accountability must be the main principles. Layered monitoring system, regular audits, and community involvement in the monitoring can be the solutions. Digital platforms can also be utilized to track fund usage in real time.
Okay guys, now it's time to read comment from our listeners. The first comment is from Halistarus Hayati. It's so nice that we already get free lunch.
Wow. And the second is from Unique Kabuadi Rich Eric. Alhamdulillah, mom doesn't have to be busy making lunch anymore. Thank you, free lunch program. Study well, little brothers and sisters.
And the third is from Putriais. She said, through the MBG meal program, besides being healthy and helping children become smarter because they can study peacefully, it also makes them excited to go to school every day. It is important to teach them to appreciate what they receive and be grateful.
And the last one is from Nur Hikmah. I personally support this program. Honestly, it's to ensure my child's nutritional needs are met because I can usually only pack rice and eggs for their lunch. I hope my child's school can also receive free meal soon.
Maybe one of you would like to respond to this comment?
I want to respond to the comment from Unika Buadi Rich Ari. As students, we certainly feel happy with this program because it does not trouble our parents and we don't have to wash our own lunchbox.
Wow, our discussion has been really interesting and comprehensive. Before we close, let's hear the conclusion from each speaker. Mega, what's your conclusion about this program?
From the Free Nutritious Food Program has tremendous potential to improve the nutritional status of Indonesia's children. However, its success depends on proper implementation. We need to ensure the food is not only filling but truly nutritious, varied, and liked by children. We also need to integrate nutrition education so that this program provides long-term impact.
And from an economic perspective, this is a major investment in the nation's future. Budget and logistical challenges are real, but can be overcome with careful plannings, transparency, and involvement of various parties including the private sector and local communities. Importantly, this program must be sustainable and not just a short-term populist program.
As a students, I strongly support this program, but we hope our voices are heard in its planning and implementation. Food that is delicious, varied, and suits our taste will determine the success of this program in the field. Also, involving students in nutrition education and food waste prevention can make this program more effective.
Okay, it seems we all agree that free nutrition food program has great potential, but needs careful planning, implementation, and monitoring. What are your final thoughts as a message from the government and society?
My message is don't just focus on free, but also on nutritious. Quality must be the top of priority.
And I want to say this too for the government. Please plan carefully, involve all stakeholders and ensure transparency. And this is for the society. Please support and monitor this program to ensure it reaches its targets.
And the last, for schools and students, let's actively participate in making this program successful, provide feedback, and reduce food waste.
Okay, before I close, we would love to have any question from you here. Okay, can you?
This program you guys have talked about seems like a very, very good program, but I was wondering if there is any challenges that come after the program. Thank you.
That's a good question. In my opinion, from an economic perspective, the biggest challenge is funding. The government needs a massive budget to fund a massive budget to feed millions of students every day.
Okay, thank you.
Are any question?
I want to ask. So, why is this program necessary in Indonesia?
So, this program was introduced because many children in Indonesia still suffer from malnutrition or struggle to access healthy meals daily. It is a solution to prevent hunger and improve education quality.
Thank you.
Good question, good question. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Free Nutrition Food. We have had an awesome discussion about nutrition, economics, whether this free meal program is really the game changer it promises to be. We have heard from Mega about how important good food is for students. Achel broke down the money side of things, and Dida gave us the real talk from a student perspective. At the end of the day, free school meals sound great, but they need to be healthy, tasty, and actually useful for students. Will this program be a success? Well, that depends on how well it's handled. Now we want to hear from you. What do you think? Would you eat these free school meals? Do you think this program will really help students? Let's keep the conversation going. Drop your thoughts in the comment or hit us up on social media. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to like, share, and follow for more discussion on topics that matter. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and as always, stay well fed. See you in the next episode. Bye!